Nigeria, a nation of 160 million people, the most populous black nation and 9th in the world. In less than a decade, about 40 million youths would be in dire need of employment. The government can definitely not meet this need. Worse still, technology is rapidly and efficiently replacing humans in the workplace. This is an emergency. Frontiers Consulting, in partnership with Dar Communications, presents Own Your Own with Muyiwa Afolabi. Learn to start, grow, manage, and profit from your own business in Nigeria.
It is time to create wealth in Nigeria, for Nigeria, and by Nigerians. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Muyiwa Afolabi. Welcome to Transformation.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Own Your Own with Muyiwa Afolabi, a business talk show where you will learn how to start, how to grow, how to manage, and profit from your own business. I am your host, Muyiwa Afolabi. I am a business coach. Today, I want to share with you on branding. Branding. The topic today is how to brand and how branding works. How to brand and how branding works. I've heard a lot of people talk about branding. I've heard a lot of people share on branding. I've spoken to a lot of business people and they have emphasized branding as a critical aspect to making their businesses survive, making their businesses outstanding, and making their businesses profitable. Branding, branding, branding. What exactly is branding? Let me share a little experience with you. A couple of months ago, a gentleman walked up to me in my business coaching class and began to share with me about himself, his business, and what he does. And I asked him, what exactly do you do? And he says, I'm a brand consultant. And I was excited because it's my field as well. And I began to ask questions about his clientele. Who are your clients? What product and what brands are you managing? And he looked at me kind of funny. And he began to explain that that actually he's into branding items. He's into the production of call cards, letterheads, and branded pens and jotters and items, basically logos and all that stuff. And I smiled because the ability to actually put logos and identification and differentiation of all kinds of items to identify with a particular business or particular organization or particular product is not what branding is all about. So many people have an opinion that once you've been able to put an identity on something, on a business, on an item, that's what branding is all about. Oh no, branding is very, very different and far from just the ability to identify an item or a company by logos or colors or a form of differentiation. So this morning, I want to go deeper into what branding really means and how it can help you as a businessman and help your business. Let me share some things with you on this. You see, branding is not about logos, letterheads, envelopes, and colors alone. No, that's not what branding is all about. It's not just in the ability to put those identification marks on your items, on your business, on your letterheads, and all the things that represent your business. No, that's not what branding is all about. Branding is not just also about creating an identification for your product or service. So my ability to recognize your company, to recognize your business by some things that you have put on it is not what branding is all about. Branding is not also just giving a personality to a product or a service. I know a lot of people talk about giving a personality to a product, giving it a particular kind of identity, a form of imagery and all that stuff. And they just conclude that once they've been able to achieve that, they have succeeded in branding. No, branding is more powerful and more sensitive than just creating an identity for a product or a service. Also, branding is not packaging. It's not about looking good. It's not about talking smooth. It's not about looking attractive. It's not about being well groomed. It's not about all those things that's got to do with the way you appear. Branding goes far beyond packaging, either branding of yourself as an individual or branding of your product or your business premises or your sales outlet, making it look so nice and attractive. Branding is more powerful and more sensitive than that. Branding is not just also about creating class and creating style. It's not about chest beating or bragging about what you have done or what you can do. It's not about your corporate culture alone. Branding is far more sensitive and more important than that in succeeding in business. Branding is really more powerful than all these things that I have shared. Branding is a concept in commercial practice that must be thoroughly and well understood in order to gain from it. Because if you do not understand the power of branding, if you cannot comprehend the impact of branding, there's a tendency that your willingness to differentiate, to stand out, and to make known your product or your service could actually be counterproductive if you do not understand the power and the importance of branding. You see, branding is about creating an experience. It's about creating a favorable experience, an experience that is consistent and can be repeated without fail. Branding actually is about how you are seen and how you are talked about. It's about the perception and the impression and the goodwill that your target audience, your customer, has got as regards to your service or your product. Branding is your ability to make your customers have good thoughts about your product and say nice things about your product based on how they felt when they used it. You see, you can make a product look attractive, you can make a service look attractive, you can use the best of packaging, the best of publicity, the best of advertising, the best of communication, the best of presentation, and I can be attracted on the account of all that activity to your product or your service. But where branding is most critical is in after I use your product or I consume your product or I experience your product, what exactly is then my disposition? How do I see it? What do I feel about it? And what will I say about it? That is where branding counts the most. The customer. Branding is far more beyond your product. It actually resides, its domicile with the customer. Your brand power, your brand equity is beyond what you have invested in your brand by way of money, by way of exposure, by way of advertising, by way of design. Branding and the power of your brand does not lie with you. It actually lies with your customers and your target, and the market is what they feel and they sense and they believe and they say about your product, about your service, about your brand that actually makes your branding powerful, effective, efficient, relevant, and useful for commercial success. You see, the danger of creating an identification, a differentiation in the marketplace for your product is if you can't deliver satisfaction, if you can't deliver back-to-back satisfaction for your customer, it will help your customer recognize your product, recognize your service, and avoid it next time when they are in the market. So when you've been able to create a differentiation, create an identification, and I'm able to know and identify your product in the marketplace, and before now I've had a bad experience, not so satisfying experience using that brand, the edge I would have is next time when I go to the market, I will be able to recognize your brand because you've helped me to be able to, and I will avoid it because of a nasty experience or bad experience or not so good or satisfactory experience I had the last time when I consumed your brand. You see, I want to use an example of cologne and perfumes. They are very good when it comes to packaging their products. Packaging, exciting, interesting, adverts, top class, top notch. But you pick up a bottle of any of those perfumes, a cologne, and you use it, and it doesn't come as exciting or as satisfactory or as pleasurable as the advert or the packaging seems. Next time, you wouldn't touch the bottle of perfume because it goes beyond the packaging. It's about the experience you had when you used it. Being different and recognizable is dangerous if your product is not good enough. So when you differentiate with your logo, when you differentiate with your colors, when you differentiate with so many things, you're actually casting the spotlight on yourself amongst competing brands. So I come to you because you have attracted me, and I use you and I have a bad experience, next time I identify you and I avoid you. You see, basic products don't suffer this kind of experience. For instance, Gari in the marketplace, vegetables in the marketplace, yams, tomatoes, they don't suffer rejection because of a bad experience because they're generic. In fact, you can go back to the same seller and say to the seller, sir or madam, the last yams you sold to me, the last oil you sold to me, the last tomatoes you sold to me were not so good. And they'll say to you, don't worry, this time around I'll sell good ones to you, and they'll apologize. And that does it, because these products are not branded. They are actually generic products. So they would not suffer rejection per se because they are generic products. They are not strongly differentiated on the premise of a promise. Branding is keeping a promise and satisfying your customer always. It's about your ability to consistently satisfy your customer. The power of your brand, the effectiveness of your brand, and the capacity of your brand to make you do well in profitability, in gaining more market share, goes beyond your differentiation, goes beyond your logos, goes beyond your colors, goes beyond your good looks. It's actually about the experience of the customer. It's about the ability to satisfy your customer. And most importantly, it's about your ability to live up to your promise as far as your product and service is concerned. Ability to live up to the promise to the target in the market. That's what branding is all about. Dear listener, I'm excited sharing this with you. I'm so committed to seeing you do well in your business. We need to pull together as businessmen, as entrepreneurs in this country, and help ourselves with insights and knowledge on how to grow together and emancipate ourselves from business failure and collapse of thriving and growing business due to lack of adequate knowledge. So I'm excited being here today. I'm excited sharing this with you. I hope you have learned one or two things on how to use branding to make your business do better going into the future. For questions, help, and consultations on your business on today's topic specifically, you can call me on 0706 349 6599. That's 0706 349 6599. You can also tweet at me. My Twitter handle is @FranklyAfolabi. @FranklyAfolabi. You can also visit my website and go to my Own Your Own blog and find there help on contemporary business issues and nice tips. You'll be glad you did. On Your Own with Muyiwa Afolabi, your practical business coaching talk show, is jointly brought to you by Frontiers Consulting and Dark Communications. For sponsorship and advert details, you can please call Florence on 0706 349 6599, 0706 349 6599, or call Victor on 0818 719 6887, 0818 719 6887. My name is Muyiwa Afolabi, your practical business and career coach. Till I come again your way next week, same time, same station, please stay in charge of your business. Have a great day.